Okay, everyone will take their seats. We will begin our June board meeting. It's great to see everyone. We've not had this many people together in a very long time. So I think it's great. So we do have business to finish. So please everyone take their seats this time. Again, I want to welcome everyone to our June 2nd GRREC board meeting. We do have some folks with us on Zoom, and we have several in person, so it's good to see everyone. It's good to see your entire face. We've been so used to seeing just the eyes, so glad to see everyone. We'll go ahead and get started with our roll call. Adair County, Pam Stevens. Allen County, Travis Handy. Marion County, Bo Matthews. Bowling Green, Gary Fields. Here. Breckenridge, Nick Carter. Butler County, Robert Tuck. Here. Campbellsville, Kirby Smith. Here. Caverna, Cornelius Faulkner. Here. Christian County, Chris Bensel. Clinton County, Tim Carson. Here. Cloverport, Keith Haynes. Crittenden County, Vince Clark. Here. Davis County, Matt Robbins. Dawson Springs, Lenny Whalen. Here. Edmondson County, Brian Alexander. Here. Elizabethtown, Kelly Bush. Here. Glasgow, Keith Hale. Grayson County, Doug Robinson. Here. Greene County, Will Hodges. Here. Hancock County, Kyle Estes. Here. Hardin County, Terry Morgan. Here. Hart County, Nathan Smith.
Here.
Henderson County, Bob Lawson. Hopkins County, Deanna Ashby. Here. LaRue County, David Raleigh. Here. Logan County, Paul Mullins. Here. Marion County, Dolores Lawson. McLean County, Tommy Burris. Here. Meade County, Mark Martin. Here. Metcalfe County, Josh Hurd. Here. Monroe County, Amy Thompson. Here. Muhlenberg County, Robert Davis. Here. Nelson County, Wes Bradley. Ohio County, Seth Suther. Here. Owensboro, Matthew Constant. Here. Russell County, Michael Ford. Here. Russellville, Larry Bagley. Here. Science Hill, Jimmy Dyehouse. Simpson County, Tim Slosser. Here. Taylor County, Charles Higdon. Todd County, Mark Thomas. Here. Union County, Patricia Sheffer. Here. Warren County, Robert Clayton. Here. Webster County, Rhonda Calloway.
Here.
WKU, Corinne Murphy, Marty Descent.
Here.
All right, we definitely have a quorum. Now I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Have a motion in a second.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Now we'll have Shay Rogers with introduction of guests.
We have lots of them, so you are glad to see everyone. Brian Wiseman, Hopkins Benefits, thank you for you and your team for supplying friends for us today. We appreciate it. Greg Phillips, Compass Municipal Advisors, Wendell Emerson, RSA, Dr. Greg Carter, KASA, Dr. Jim Flynn, KASS, Barry Anderson Beard, Tim Murley Alliance, Chris Tyler, Thermal Equipment Sales, Barrett Adams, Thermal Equipment, Brooke Whitlow, Ms. Brooke. Can't tell something, they something collaborative, and I apologize. How about just yell out? Where's Ms. Brooke?
The Albany Collaborative.
Thank you. Matt McCarty, KSBA, Butch Campy Bear, Mitch Crump, RSA, Tim Hawkins Smith, CMPA, Bob Tarbin, RSA, Dave Dadell, Performance Services, John Tinsley, Alpha Energy, Matt Gum, Alliance, Carol Boyd, RW Bear, Melody Lumford, Benefits Resource Group, Jenny Japel also with Benefits Resource Group, Paula Hendrick, and Ms. Lauren Weston's here with House's Insurance Group as well, so thank you. John Bradshaw, Financial Group, Brandon Carter, Alto Mechanical. If we missed anybody, it got a little crazy out there, so raise your hand or give a shout out. We appreciate you being here and your partnership.
Thank you, Jay. Now we'll have approval of consent items. There are 4 different attachments there, and I need one motion for approval of the consent items.
So moved.
Thank you. We need a second. Thank you, Paul. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Now we'll have, Mr. Mark Cleaner with our action by discussion items.
Awesome. It does my heart well to see the room full of folks here on behalf of education this morning. I will talk more later in my executive director report, but I do want to get to our action by discussion items. We do need approval, if possible, to authorize our CFO, Dan Jones, to pay the bill through our next GRREC board meeting. We will not be meeting again until July 28th. That will be in Louisville at KASA, so we can get approval on that.
Okay, we need a motion to approve. Okay, we've got a motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have our approval of the tentative GRREC budget for the 21-22 school year. Things are going well right now. GRREC has been a tremendous addition to our budget. More importantly, it's been a great addition to educators in the GRREC region and beyond who are working on rank changes. And so when Dan Jones has prepared our budget for next year, we're very pleased with that. You will see, if you look into some of the details, we've added the CRREC team, which we'll speak about later today. Those folks have been hired and will start July 1st officially. They've already began their work here with the meeting last week. That is a grant we received from KDE, so that's in the budget as well. And you can see the budget there in attachment 5, and I would ask that we ask for approval of that at this time.
We need a motion to approve the budget. Motion by Bo, second by Nick. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries.
Attachment 6 is an approval to award our AEPA bids. They're listed in attachment 6 if you need any more information there, but I would ask for approval of that.
Okay, approval for the AEDA bids.
So moved.
Thank you, Kyle. Need a second.
Second.
Second by Tim. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Number 7, approval to renew our contract with HBS for third-party food service.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Who all was that? I'll say first by Pam, second by Kirby. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries.
Attachment 8, we have approval of classified salary schedule. We did approve the salary schedule at the May meeting. There was one column that was left off on the far right for an office manager that I did not, I was supposed to add before the May 2nd one, but we have added that job description. We already have the job description. We've added the column on the salary schedule, and I'm just simply asking for approval of that classified salary schedule.
Do we need a motion? Thank you, Kelly. Second. Mark, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
John Strode,
Yes, sir.
I think I just moved the clicker accidentally. Are we ready for executive?
Next, we have Mr. Bartley with Executive Director report.
I don't know if Kirk was feeling generous on his way out the door, his chair or whatever, but somehow I got 25 minutes scheduled this morning. I will promise to try not to take all of that, but there are several items to discuss. I'm going to go through the slides, and I need you as superintendents to, you are a very humble group. You think that what you've done this year is just your normal duties, that you just do it because that's your job, and that's certainly a way to look at it. But I want to pause at the very beginning today, and I want you to take a deep breath and feel very happy. This is June 2nd day, that's what I'm calling it. And I want you to remember where we were in August. We sat in here, I think some of us were in here, I can't remember back to August. I feel like we were in the room, but then after that, we went to Zoom and all those things. But in August, we were in a very difficult place. We did not know what it was going to be like, what it was going to look like, whether we were going to make it through the 2021 school year. I want you to give yourselves a figurative medal of commendation. If I had medals to hang around your neck, I would do that right now in a very special ceremony. But I want you to figuratively take this medal and put it around your neck. And you're going to say things like, well, it's my team, and I had a great team and they did it for me and all that. But you are still the leader. You are the face of your district. Sorry, Robbie Davis, but you are the face of Muhlenberg County Schools. And it is what it is, but seriously, people look at you and they look at you to lead. And you've done it this year in a year like no other. And if you just skip over that and just say, well, I'm just doing my job, then you would be remiss in doing so. So I'm going to, and if our vendors want to join me, I'm going to give you all a standing ovation for your successful completion of the 2021 school year. Thank you, vendors. I know that you as vendors have been super helpful in trying to meet very different needs than we've ever had to meet before. And so we appreciate you all. We appreciate our partners in the K groups, our friends from KDE, and what's been a challenging year to say the least. I was asking some of you what it felt like when you got in your vehicle and left graduation. What did you have? A sigh of relief, a scream of joy, of exultation? I missed that this year. I did not have a closing day. It was so weird. I've had 28 years of closing days where you get to the last day and the kids go home and you feel this little bit of joy, like, man, we made it. And then we get a reset for next year. But I didn't have that this year. I was looking around and I vicariously celebrated through you and your closing days as I checked on you and you said, hey, we're done. We got it. Graduation done. Matthew Johnson said they only had 30 seconds of rain at his outdoor Owensboro Independent graduation. I know he was happy that they didn't end up graduating in a downpour, but I know it had to feel like a huge sense of relief, but you should also feel a huge sense of accomplishment. And I just don't want to leave this morning without making sure you recognize that. I'll talk about it again when we come back to self-care and some advice for you for the summer that I hope you'll take as we go along. All right. Telling Our Story Kentucky campaign. We've been updating you on this since January when it launched. The goal was that all 171 school districts would tell a story a month. They would put that out in their different forms of communication. When you take 171 times 12, it comes really close to 2021 stories. So in 2021, we want to see 2021 positive stories about public education in Kentucky. And I just want to again thank you for participating in this. It's not over. We're only halfway there. Theoretically, you got 6 more stories that you want to get out. I know you've probably already done your June when it's June 2nd already, so I'm sure that one's done. But you've got your July through December stories to get out there and just let people know what great things are happening in your school district. And you are your chief storyteller. With that in mind, I want to segue to a different item. We're going to offer you a gift this morning, and I pray that you will take it. Don't be embarrassed or shy or say, oh, that's just not me, because again, I wasn't joking when I said you are the face of your district, and people need to see you, and you are your chief storyteller. Speaking of gifts, hopefully you got your pullover. We are going to take a group team roster photo at the end of the day. We got 39 of our 45 folks here, which is awesome. We'll get a photo of you and your various school district colors, and then we'll get everybody, if you would, put your pullover on. We'll get a GRREC team photo as well. We are offering you a gift this summer. In addition to the pullover, you are getting a chance to have a photo. I don't know if session, maybe a strong word, but you're going to get a chance to have photos of you in your district in special places for you so that you can continue to be the chief storyteller. So what we're doing is partnering with the Alchemy Collaborative. And Brooke Whitlow, would you stand up and just make sure people see you and know you, because I hope that you'll accept this gift, and I hope that you'll see Brooke or follow the links here today so that you can schedule this in June or July. And as a thank you from us, we've done headshots here before at GRREC with a backdrop, but we want to give a real backdrop of you in your place. So if Amy Thompson wants to get a photo in front of the Mulkey Meeting House in Tompkinsville, Kentucky, and then use that to tell her story about the power of Monroe County Schools, she can do that. Nathan Smith, I think, is with us by Zoom, but I really want Nathan to be on the bridge in Mumfordville. We gotta figure out how you're gonna do this photo, bro, because I don't want you or Nathan to run over. That would not be well for the campaign. But I want to get a photo of Nathan standing on the bridge with the Green River in the background and him being, that's his place in Hart County Schools. So the offer is this: we're going to come to you, Brooke is going to come to you, and she's going to take some photos. She is already working with the Logan County Schools. Her company is working with Logan County Schools. So this is our friend Paul Mullins. He's never looked so good. I feel like it's been photoshopped. I don't know, but he's looking great. I don't know, whatever works. He's looking great. And I think, Paul, this is at the Logan CTC, and that equipment in the background is part of some of the stuff the kids are doing. Is that the welding, or what do you remember? What is it? Machine tool shop. That's a great example of him saying, hey, this is who we are at Logan County Schools. And she will do that for you. So please don't fail to accept that gift. Again, don't be shy or embarrassed. You say, I don't photo well. She'll get your best side, whatever that is, and she'll get you a photo, and you'll be able to have that and access it. This leads to the next part. We are setting up some workshops for this fall. We had advertised, or you all had approved a job description for grants coordinator and communications consultant at GRREC. I'm going to speak to that in a few minutes. But part of communications is really important right now. When you hear Matt Robbins speak about this morning, Council for Better Education, that we promote our stories. So she is also going to be, when she comes to take your photos in Monroe County, Ms. Thompson, she's going to go around and she would like to get permission to get some custom building drone shots of your facilities from overhead. Some great places in Owensboro. It's a picture of the square in Owensboro. And you and Matt both want to use that, Matthew. That'd be a great idea for your community and your schools. She will get these, and GRREC will be purchasing these and taking care of these. How we want to get them back to you is we're going to have Brooke here twice this fall, dates to be determined. She's working with Beth Beckham, our events coordinator. We'll get a cost, the registration, a link out to you later for 2 workshops. Number 1, what story are you telling? We would like in the morning for Soups to come with your PR directors. At lunch, you could probably head to the house after we feed you, and then that afternoon, PR directors. And I know some of you are saying like, hey, I'm in XYZ school district. I don't know that we have a full-time PR director. Well, that's another reason why you may want to get somebody on point, and getting a professional company like the Alchemy Collaborative perhaps work with you on that. And then workshop 2 will be, how about telling your story? And I think we're going to talk more about some icons, some branding, some logos, getting that digitized, getting it in your principal's hands. So when they send something out, it looks very similar across the district. Brooke has worked with Nelson County Schools for the past few years, and she'll show a lot of examples that they've used there. There was one that I just loved. I think it was New Haven, right? What was their mascot? Yeah.
Railroad.
New Haven Mustang had a railroad track running right through the middle of the logo, and I think that's so cool because if you've ever been to New Haven, Kentucky, the railroad is part of their story there when you go through the town. So things like that, I get chills thinking about it because you have a powerful, wonderful story, and we want people to continue to believe in that story. It's really important for any of the work you're trying to accomplish in your district that your community is with you and not on opposite sides of you trying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So that's that. All you got to do is, Brooke, what do they have to do to make sure they get on the calendar?
I have some forms where they can accept their gifts today and we can get them on the calendar, and I've got some information on the workshops.
So those forms, are paper forms or are they links?
So yes, they're a QR code, it's digital, but also something they can walk away with.
So we'll get you these before you leave today. We'll pass them around towards the end of the meeting. I know some of you may have to leave at different times today, but make sure you get this. And please do this. We want to give you this gift, and we think it's very powerful for you. All right. 13 of our districts and 90 of our classrooms took advantage of an opportunity that we presented a couple months ago about GRREC summer learning packages. And I did not know when I had this idea what it was going to turn into. So I want to thank my team for building on this idea, and it was very and time intensive and effort intensive, but they are very proud of the results. And I know you'll be proud of the results as well. And if you didn't take advantage of it this summer, and our Krista team rolls around late this summer and early fall to talk to you, if it's something you may want to think about using this summer when you start school in August, or this fall, we may have access to the curriculum that we built for that. But I think I'm going to let Dr. Davis, are you in the room, or do you want me to speak to this, or will you speak to it? Let's get a microphone to you, because you've been working with that team, packing boxes, helping organize these trainings, and it's pretty awesome.
So, we, our launch, if you're one of those 13 districts, and you're starting summer school, they are using that curriculum. It's a really great curriculum that our team put together for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades. We had this entire room full of boxes. I will tell you a funny story. I'll take a little bit of Bart's time. When we started envisioning this, we were in our minds thinking that everything in the kit was going to fit, everything for your kit was going to fit in one cute little box. I don't know what we were thinking, but you can see the boxes. I mean, there were like 5 boxes per grade level of materials. And so the teachers have all been here, except for a handful that are coming tomorrow. They have received training, and we are also offering ongoing support with regular office hours being offered every Tuesday afternoon throughout the summer, so that teachers can hop on and ask questions, share celebrations, lift up barriers to one another and to our GRREC team. And we also have a Facebook page for them, so they can go on there and share some things together there. So it's been a great project, a lot of work, a lot of extra time. We weren't really anticipating, but we had a lot of fun doing it. We were glad to be able to provide the service for these districts this year. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Next, we're going to speak about GRREC Leadership Coaching Program. There we go. I spoke to you about this in May. We told you that we would get with you over the next month and see what kind of interest we had before we actually put this forward as a job description and ask for a full-time coordinator. After talking to you all and talking to my team here at GRREC and talking to the executive committee, we decided not to go fully forward in the sense that we're not going to ask for a job approval today of a full-time coordinator, but we did have a lot of interest in the program. So we are going to, for 21-22, institute a leadership coaching pilot program. The way that will work is all 45 of our districts have 1 slot available, so that if everybody signs a person up, 45 is the limit. We're going to try to limit it. I'm going to oversee this program because I love leadership. I love discussing it and learning about it and working through it. And I feel like we got some really good learnings for your folks. So you have till June 30th to send Christina. You got a flyer in your folder that's updated from what you saw a month ago. And it now says pilot program. And you've got a spot. We've reduced the cost of it because we've reduced a couple of the things we were going to offer. But you've got a spot until June 30th. If you'll email Christina Jackson, if you have a person, Dan Jones will invoice you in August sometime, but you will have a spot. And if you choose not to use that spot, that's totally fine. Around July 5th, we will open up the remaining spots. So if Taylor Kane doesn't use a spot, let's say then we'll have a spot open. I'll send the email out July 5th and say, hey, if you want a second person from your district, we'll just do that on a first come, first serve. We will try to limit it to 45. And our 1 full day training is already set, and it is July 12th. Beth Beckham reminded me last night that I should do this in a different order. I should have the flyer and the registration ready when I announce a date, because what happens is you go back and tell your people, and then they call us and say, I can't find the sign up on the website, what's going on? But I just needed the date to be locked in. So this is a save the date. When you pick your person, tell them that July 12th, Monday, July 12th, They will need to plan to be here at GRREC for a full day of training. We will feed them and launch the GRREC Leadership Coaching Pilot Program. There will be registration, so when you email Christina, she'll email you back an official registration link that Beth and her are constructing, and you can send it to your person. We think that it'll go well. We hope that next spring, there's so much demand that in 22, 23, we'll be doing it as a full-fledged, full-time person coordinator program. Amy said it really well when we were talking about it. In the end, there are so many things going on right now, and started school back in August, and the fact that we've got a lot of GRREC Ed happening. We've got CRRSA team launching, and we're writing another grant with the co-op directors for ARP ESSER 3 funding that I'll talk about in a minute. We just felt like piloting it was probably a good road to go down for the coming year. All right, we got approved a grants coordinator and communications consultant position at the May board meeting. We have posted it. We are not going to make a hire at this time. I told you in May, we wanted to get the right person. We don't just want to hire a person so we can say we filled the position. At this time, we are not going to hire a full-time person in the grants coordinator and communications consultant position. Here's how we are dealing with grants. Dr. Dale Goatley, if you haven't met Dale, he's super sharp. I don't know if is Dale in the building today? Dan Costello, can you check? If he is, we can grab him and we'll get it back here, put a name with a face. Dr. Dale is on staff here at GRREC. He's part of Terry Stice's STEM CS grant. So if you're one of those districts, you know Dr. Dale. He's going to be able to devote 30 days during this coming year, which is 3 days a month over a 10-month period, to our grants program. So what you've gotten when you paid $1,000 for the grants consortium before is you've gotten monthly emails in your district saying, here's some grants that we've looked at that you might consider. You've gotten read behinds on grants that you're writing, and you've gotten to participate at no cost. If we find a grant that we feel like we want to write for here at GRREC, our grant writer has written that and involved your district by asking your permission before we launch you into that grant effort. So this year, we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to have Dale devote that time to send you your monthly emails, to be able to do read behinds, and he's going to work with John Rogers this summer, former GRREC employee, and has her own grant writing, very successful grant writing business right now. And she's going to do some training with Dale. And then if we find this fall or winter, that there's a grant we want to write for, Jonna has agreed that if time permits, we can contract with her, and we'll take that on a per district basis and talk to you about that. With all that in mind, what I propose to do this year is simply take the grants consortium fee from $1,000 to $500 for the coming year. Dan Jones, our GRREC finance director, would send you an invoice in August. We started doing this a year ago where it was, what is it when you send home and you say, we're going to take your kid's picture unless you call us back and tell us we can't take your kid's picture? Consent form where it's like, you let us know if you don't want to be a part of it. If you don't, or if you have questions, I'll be glad to talk further with you about that. But that's what we're doing for 21, 22. We will probably repost next spring. I will say that I want to thank Mark Martin, Terry Morgan. Who else was on the call with me? Bo Matthews, it was your grant person. It was Warren County's grant person. About a month and a half ago, we had a call. Kyle, you were on that. With a few people, we said, here's our options, what do we do? And they all agreed that we got to keep the grants thing going, even though we got a lot of ESSER money right now, just to put it on the shelf and not do anything with grants and try to come back in 2 years and relaunch it, that we would lose some momentum that we gained. So that's why we're going to continue to do this part of it with Dr. Dale stepping in. And I would think the next spring we post again. Dr. Dale, are you in the room? Dr. Dale Goatley joined the GRREC team a year and a half ago. He's one of those young doctors, you know, you go to medical doctor and you're like 23, like, have you really been to medical school? He really has gotten his doctorate. I don't think he went to medical school, but he is a doctor and he's very wise. He's very stat savvy. He loves to dig into detail. So I think this grant world is going to be a pretty cool thing for him. We have hired our CRRSA team, and Dan Costello, Dr. Costello, would you like to speak to this, or? I'm running out of my time. I have 5 minutes left and I've got a couple things to do, so. But we just want you to see some faces so that when these people come around to help you, you'll know who they are.
Yeah, real quick, we've got Chase Goff, retired, and you all know Chase, he worked at Warren County, and he's in Nelson County now, doing a great job. And so we're super excited to have him as our director. Our kickoff event is called Recalibration to Acceleration. That's June 22nd and 23rd. So some of you all may have gotten an email from me or we've heard from Bart about this. We really hope that everybody has representation here, so we can kick off our team, kick off our work with Krista, support you all to start back. See the other members of our team there, Cheryl Bradford from Butler County, SEL specialist, David Crowder is currently at Westville, learning acceleration, concentrating here in math. Marisa Duarte is here. She's
Marisa, stand up and wave. We know, I think folks know you, but.
She has been our OBR transition consultant now, but she's going to be working with Christine, doing that work as well. Audrey Harper, Warren County, and we are learning acceleration specialist in literacy. Caitlin Festa, also currently in Warren County. She's going to be working with some MTSS work here at GRREC and supporting the team as well. So super excited about this team. Super excited about the coordination between all the GRREC districts, all the co-ops. I'm sorry, all the co-ops. They're going to meet this summer at KSA and share some ideas. That's the ongoing work to communicate with the other co-ops, share ideas, and share strategies. Do some great work. Hopefully, we'll all talk to your team, talk to your people, make sure they're in good contact, regular contact with our team.
Thank you so much, Dan. Marissa also makes me think about OBR. Some of you asked about this. OBR, the way they're funding that is changing, and so the co-ops have been having discussions in the last 2 months about whether we continue to do that. We figured out a way to try to continue to do that with Marisa, and she will be doing that as needed, but also part of the Krista team. If we get overwhelming need for OBR, Office of, I started to say vehicular rehabilitation, but they'll be, I got a couple cars in the family that need that, but Office of Vocational Rehabilitation and helping your high school students who have an IEP or a 504 or an identified disability get ready to make successful transition. Many of you districts are taking advantage of that. We want to continue to offer that. So keep talking to us about that, but we're not going to have the full 3-person team that we've done before because they've changed the way they're going to fund it. So that's an update there on that. All right. You will see this later, so you can read all these bullets. I just want you to know that the 8 cooperatives are working very hard right now on preparing another grant ask of KDE from the ARP ESSER funds. The second bullet is, you may remember, KDE is getting $208 million. Remember in ESSER 2, KDE got a set aside of $92.8 million. Well, ARP ESSER 3, they got $208 million set aside. That's separate apart from the money they gave to districts or got sent to districts. And we are going to ask for a portion of that, and it's going to be around the Deeper Learning Initiative. If you were at KASS, Dr. Flynn did a great job at KASS. It was a wonderful conference, so thank you for that. But Dr. Fullen spoke on that Monday morning for probably almost a 3-hour presentation with his team all around deeper learning. And we know this is a passion of Dr. Glass's that he wants to see happening in Kentucky and Kentucky school districts going forward. So we're writing it around this, and if we get it, we'll be able to use it over the next 3 years. I will keep you updated, but we're asking for a large sum of money, and if we get that, part of that ask is because we want to send some of it, sub-award it to the districts so that you can have some stipends and or deeper learning coaches in your districts so that we can do this work and make it sustainable over time after the grant period has ended. All right. I'll circle back to my very first topic, which was thank you. But I want you, this is something we shared on January 16th, Entre Leadership Podcast. Get a chance to listen to Christy Wright. If you haven't, I just advocate again. It's about work-life balance. Superintendents aren't very good at that sometimes, if you didn't know that already. Your seesaw tends towards work a lot, whether you admit it or not. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to please find time, the last sentence, please take a scheduled timeout in June or July. If you haven't already scheduled this, I pray that you would do so, because we want you for the long haul. And your family wants you, more importantly, your family wants you for the long haul. And what you've gone through in the last 12 months, whether you want to admit it or not, it's been stressful and probably at times not super helpful to your personal health. So please rest, relax, recharge, and re-energize before you come back and do it again. We know we're going to have some COVID challenges, but we also know that any school year, we have just the regular set of challenges that come with the beginning of any new school year. So please take that time this summer. I appreciate all of you so much. And I always close with our org chart. We're going to fit the CRREC team into this. We'll have this updated by July. Dan Costello, please remind me of that. We'll get it updated, but we are anywhere, anytime you need anything, we are here for you, and you reach out to us and we're going to do our best to help.
All right, thanks, Bart. Next, we have our LSAC committee report, David Raleigh.
All right, I'll use my PD voice. Everybody hear me okay? I'll go quickly with this. It was we met on May 25th. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, we put those things behind us. To get started, this is one of the first times where Commissioner Glass wanted to provide an update, and you'll see there that he kind of went quickly and said they're still working towards finishing up ESSER 2 funding. They talked a little bit about the equity work taking place at KDE to increase diversity throughout the state. Then he allowed Chuck Truesdale to talk about what they're doing and give legislative follow-ups to Senate Bill 128, talk about dates and deadlines. House Bill 563, a survey that will be provided, and I assume that they're talking about the KSA survey that just came out last week. Talk about creating a task force to review school funding and other legislative priorities. Also, Todd Allen was on this webcast as well, but due to technical difficulties, he kind of got cut off, so that's why we don't have to take him there. In terms of regulations, there was a repeal and replace of the home hospital instruction. You guys can read that to see what was replaced there. Before we ended, our chair, Tim Bobrowski from Allen County, expressed to Mr. Truesdale the need for local superintendents to have a voice in the task force, on that task force, to examine school funding. Noted that the needs of rural districts differ from urban districts. And that was it. And our next meeting is July 27th.
Thank you, David. We now have a report from the Superintendent Advisory Council. You all ever read?
We did, but the report that it just gave is exactly what we talked about. I mean, I just told him I thought this is the same thing, the LSAC and the SAC is the same report.
Okay. You want to force PD to do some kind of report or presentation in her last go around?
That's the report.
Just
You know.
text me, why don't you?
At least, unlike Scott Howard, at least you went to the meetings and came back with something, okay? Scott can't defend himself, he's in the back, he doesn't have a microphone, but that was what I remember from my first year as superintendent. I came over here and they would get to that point in the meeting every time, they would say, Scott, how was it, Rob Clayton? I'd say, Scott, do you have anything to report? And he'd say something like, well, we didn't meet this month, but I think we got this meeting scheduled in a couple months, I'll get back with you. And then a couple months later, we come back, I finally figured out there was not going to be a report. Tim Murley always was quick to point that out, by the way. I noticed that as well.
All right, thank you. Next, we will have Dr. DeSander with West Virginia University.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. WKU has a couple of items that I wish to share with you. First of all, COVID-19 created lots of different situations for everybody, physical as well as emotional. And also addictions have seen an uptick over the last 15 or 17 months, not only with adults, but with children too. And currently our Department of Counseling and Student Affairs has a certificate for addictions that may be of interest to your districts. And we still have some slots available. So if there are any districts that are interested in sending staff members or having staff members participate, we welcome that. Also, if there are districts that would like to maybe partner with each other and send a group of people, we are able to accommodate that as well. And if you have specific questions about that, please contact Dean Murphy or the department head for Counseling and Student Affairs, Dr. Joe Sauerkeeper. In spring of 2021, if you will recall, student teachers were allowed to do substitute teaching, and the feedback that we've received from the districts has been overwhelmingly positive. Dean Murphy is sharing that information with OELE, and we're trying to find out if we can extend that and make that a regular practice since it worked out so well. If you have any questions or if you have specific feedback you would like to share with Dean Murphy, so as she continues those conversations with OELE, please feel free to contact her. We should know more in advance of the fall 2021 semester. But if you do have any specific information you'd like to share, please feel free to contact Dean Murphy. On a positive note, our enrollment for undergraduates is pacing well with the growth we saw for last year. And we're very excited about this. We are also working with some districts on Educators Rising to develop a program for individuals who are interested in your high schools as a grow your own model. If you're interested, if you haven't done this and you're interested in learning more about this, please contact Stephanie Martin at WKU in the Office of Professional Educator Services. We also anticipate rolling out a pilot program for district and staff professionals seeking undergraduate degrees with teacher licensure in online and hybrid modalities. And if you are interested in that, please feel free to contact Dean Murphy or Stephanie Martin about that. At the last meeting, I think Dean Murphy provided an update on the praxis testing, and she just wanted me to remind everybody that if you have any questions regarding the praxis results, don't hesitate to give her a call. With regard to the Department of Educational Administration, Leadership and Research, I've got a couple of items I'd like to share with you as the department head for that unit. As of June 30th, 2021, the Department of Educational Administration, Leadership and Research will cease to exist, and we are morphing into a new academic unit. We're merging with the School of Professional Studies, and we will be called the School of Leadership and Professional Studies. So we're really excited about this change, and we're looking at doing a new visioning and programming for the unit. So we're very excited about that. As part of our new visioning and changing, we have some new staff joining us, new faculty actually joining us in August of 2021, and Mr. Rob Akers, the former Deputy Commissioner for the Kentucky Department of Education, will be joining our unit as a professional in residence, and he will be working with our districts for outreach. So we're very excited to have Rob working with us and becoming a part of our team and working with GRREC as well, because he's established some really great partnerships and relationships with folks. The educational doctoral program and KASA have partnered, and our first cohort has been kicked off. The theme of this cohort is leading diverse learners, and we're very excited about that. We had great response from our districts, and hopefully it helped to increase some of the membership with KASA as well. because in order to be able to avail themselves of the tuition discount, students had to become a member if they were not of KASA. So we're very excited about this partnership and the kickoff of our new cohort. They'll be doing a residency the week of June 14th. And we have a number of activities going on with them, but many of them come from your district, so we're very excited about that. And finally, last but not least, we're very lucky that CPE recently approved our master's degree in instructional leadership. So now principal certification will be available through a master's degree program. If you're interested, if you have individuals who are interested in the program, please connect with me, and I'll be happy to work with you or your faculty who are interested in moving forward with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cassandra. Next, we have Mr. Barclay with some additional information.
Some items not on the agenda, and one that I forgot that Ann Burton thankfully reminded me of. This is why it's gonna fall apart when June 19th gets here. First, I wanted to recognize earlier, when we're recognizing the superintendents, it's one thing to be a superintendent during this challenging year, but it's another thing to be a brand new superintendent and go to Frankfurt for your 17, what seems like 70 days of training during the year and manage during a pandemic. So Dr. Carter, Fred Carter, not Nick, the other Dr. Carter, when I called Nick out this morning, I was like, oh, there's two Dr. Carters. Fred worked with Nick and Robbie and I and Kirby and several of us in our first year cohort a few years ago, but he does a fabulous job of that. But you've got some, I'm going to list some new soups, and Dr. Carter, it's your job in case I leave one out to make sure I recognize them. But these folks are finishing their first year as a superintendent in the pandemic, and I know they're thankful for finishing it and hopefully coming back to maybe a more normal school year that they don't even know the difference in it yet, right? No particular order. Mark Thomas from Todd County, Kelly Bush from Elizabethtown, Mark Martin from Meade County, Ryan Alexander from Edmonson County, Robert Tuck from Butler County, Chris Bensel from Christian County, Bob Lawson from Henderson County, and it's no great time to mention this anytime, but Vince Clark just sent me a tweet that Henderson County Schools and Bob Lawson put out this morning that they have lost a staff member. Mr. Brett Hawkins passed away due to a serious car accident over the weekend. And so if you want to reach out to Bob and their team, you can see it on the tweet. There's probably more details, et cetera. But the district's mental health team can be available to provide for their staff and students. And our crisis team here at GRREC will reach out to them. If you'll have Ms. Tyree reach out to them today as well. So, but Bob couldn't be here today, obviously. He's finishing his first year. And Josh Hurt from Metcalf County Schools. And Larry Joe Begler from Russellville is in one of those unique spots like Matthew Constant was in, where you come in the middle of the year and they make you endure it for 2 years, I think, right? So Larry Joe is you didn't do the capstone yet, or are they gonna?
I'll do the capstone with cohort 9 in this group, and then I'll do the first part with cohort 10.
Awesome. So we're adding him to that list. Dr. Carter or other news hoops, did I leave somebody off the list? I don't want to have missed anyone.
I don't have a list, but I think that's it. I will mention, we already have 20 vacancies for next year, and probably 3 or 4 more to be announced.
Wow. Let's give those first year superintendents a congratulations. My friend Jim Flynn is here. Jim would want you to know that KASS is offering Superintendent Summer Academy Learning. I can't get all the words right.
Yes, Summer Leadership Academy.
Give the dates and.
You've gotten some email communications on it, but we're really excited about the Superintendent Summer Leadership Academy. We're going to focus on enhancing impact through adaptive leadership. Bart, Nick, Brake, and I are really passionate about this, and anyone that's practiced the superintendency knows that essentially if any problem that rises to your desk is an adaptive challenge. It's a combination of technical and adaptive, but it's going to be very engaging, a great framework for this learning to occur. We're offering 2 cohorts. We have an East cohort, July 13th to 14th in Lexington, and then a West cohort here at GRREC. Well, not at GRREC, in Bowling Green at the Holiday Inn Plaza, University Plaza Hotel on July 15th and 16th. It's going to be a high impact, lean and mean agenda, and look for that. If you haven't already signed up, encourage you to do so.
2 questions I may not ask. If I'm here in Bowling Green, I want to go to the East cohort in Lexington, I can just sign up, right? I want to spend some time in the.
Whichever cohort you want, there's nothing magical about that. It's just trying to make it accessible, and we're going to try to keep it somewhat, a little bit smaller so that we can have a lot of interactivity in the workshop.
And if I wanted to bring someone on maybe hop on my leadership team that I want this adaptive leadership work to resonate with them, I can contact you and say, you have room for me to bring somebody with me. And
In fact, in the registration form online, you could bring some folks with you that you think would benefit on your team of having that experience.
Great. There'll be some great fellowship too in the evenings. Jim has lined up burgers and ball games. I think there's a Lexington Hot Rods game available for the Lexington cohort, and Lexington Legends. I think there's a Legends still available for the Lexington cohort. And when we're here in Bowling Green, there's a Hot Rod game on that evening. I think you come in midday on the first day, you do some training, you got that night together, and then you finish up the next day, and you're done at noon.
Right before lunch, and then our sponsors are Audio Enhancement and the House's Insurance Group, and after the event, there's going to be some networking activities, including golf and some other things available. So ought to be a lot of fun, but also some great professional learning. So encourage you to look at that. Thanks, Bart.
Thanks, Jim. Ann handed me these. We've been talking about these. A couple of you have asked me about this. Larry, Mark, of course, will be happy in Russellville because you bring him a check. He always likes those. He asked me yesterday, are we getting a check this year? So these are 16 checks, and these are a result of AEPA spending during the year 2020. And we are Association of Educational Purchasing Agencies. We are that for all of Kentucky, and that's a 29 state, I'm trying to get your words right here, looking at it. 29 state conglomerate of bidding. It's a bidding group that people put into, and then you can access those bids. Many of you use those. So I think when Tim Murley was leading us here at GRREC, he and Ann, I'm gonna give Ann most of the credit, but he and Ann had an idea about a rebate program. And the idea that if you're spending a lot with AEPA, that we would share some of that admin fee that comes back. So we've instituted that. I was telling Kelly Bush this morning, my first year, I came to the superintendent meeting, they were handing out checks, I didn't get one, I was kind of sad, a little bit mad, I went back and said, what we gotta do to get a check? And they said, we gotta spend more on AEPA, use the bids or whatever. Kelly's first year superintendent, and the rebate portion started, if your district spent $75,000 to $99,999 in calendar year 2020, you get 20% of that back from our 2% admin fee, so you can do the math. I had to go to Kelly this morning and say, Kelly, the Elizabethtown School spent $73,562 last year. You came up 1,500 short. So she's going to go back like I was at the end of that first year, sad and mad. I guarantee you we're going to get a check to E-Town in 2021. So these are in alphabetical order, not financial order. You don't have to come up and get it right now, but you can just be proud to hear your name called and know that you're one of our 16 districts getting a rebate check. Anything else I need to say about that? I'll read them out.
The districts that are getting checks, it is directly related to the AEPA event we are having this Friday. If you still have some people who have not signed up, that's a great way. We've got a lot of newer vendors this year. So if you are jealous, like Bart was, that you didn't get a check, send some people Friday.
All right, the roll call is Barron County, Bowling Green Independent, Campbellsville Independent, Vernon Independent, Holman Cardinals, Alma Mater, Christian County, Hancock County, Hardin County, Hart County, Henderson County, Monroe County, I'm excited, Muhlenberg County, Owensboro Independent, Russellville Independent, Simpson County Board of Education, Union County Board of Education, and the Warren County Board of Education. We're going to end our meeting very shortly, and after the brunch and after we recognize our central office retirees, there are 2 more opportunities today before you leave. The Moats Group, who is one of our APA vendors, has promised some dessert, and they're going to speak about their product, and Kirby Smith from Campbellsville is going to speak about taking advantage of that through APA and how it helps Campbellsville in that regard. And Ann and he will speak a little bit about that. And then following that, I've asked Ann to do this. I said, before you go, you got to give us all the bidding do's and don'ts. So everybody that would stay around, you can hear these so that you can know better how to take advantage of and support your district and not have to mess with going out and putting it out to bid yourself. Thank you.
Okay. That is about it. I've enjoyed being your board chair for the past year. I never dreamed that we would be doing that virtually for most of the year. But nonetheless, I think we do all need to pat ourselves on the back because we made it, we did it, we made it work for our kids. So congratulations to all of you. And it's my pleasure to pass the gavel to Ms. Amy Thompson, who will now be the new board chair for the 2022 year. And Mr. Paul Mullins will be coming on as vice chair. I will move to the position of immediate past chair. Mr. Clay will move on.
Thank you, Kurt. I have tried to pay him and bribe him and everything I could to just keep the chair, keep the mic, and I'll just sit right here and smile and do my thing. No, it's a pleasure and an honor to serve all of you and to work alongside of Bart and the whole committee here and see GRREC continue to move forward. We're looking forward to this upcoming year, and hopefully it will be a more normal, regular year without masks and all those things. But anyway, remember our retirement recognition and the meeting with the Mott's Group, and of course, learning from Miss Ann.
Kurt, you'll forever be known as the COVID chair, so congratulations. Stepping on, I just want to say thank you. It's been 3 years. This is obviously, if you do the math on it, it's a rotation of 3 years of work, maybe 4 if I'm doing the math wrong, but it's a lot of time. These are the people I reach out to and talk to, and we usually talk before the meetings, phone calls or emails or some Zooms this year to say, hey, it's what we're thinking about, and they've really given me great guidance in my first go around, so I appreciate you all. And Paul, welcome to the executive committee. Thank you all for all your committee work and all the committees you serve on.
Our next meeting will be July the 28th in conjunction with KASA, and the time is to be announced. Now we need a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Small. Second. All in favor, say aye. Meeting is adjourned.